Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and to another video. Today I will be setting up a completely new journal, not a bullet journal, but a reading journal. I'm using this gorgeous brown bullet journal from Notebook Therapy. It has a little fawn on the front and it has a very soft feel to it on the cover and I love it. And I bought this notebook specifically to use as my reading journal, but that was quite a few months ago because I've been planning this for a while, but I'm only now getting around to actually setting it up. So here I just created a little front page with my name, and I'm already moving on to the very first actual spreads in the journal, which are kind of like a title page. So you see I'm putting a little collage together of some pictures that remind me of reading or just have that cozy feeling that I want my reading journal to have. And in every single spread, you'll see that later, I am using this ripped up piece of a book page. And no, I didn't actually rip up a book for this. I just printed out some text and I'm using that. And for the titles and stuff, I'm mainly using my alphabet stamps because I think that fits the vibe really well, and also some brush lettering from time to time. I started getting into the idea of starting a reading journal by watching Elizabeth's from Plant-Based Brides video of setting up her reading journal from last December, I think. And I just thought it was such a nice idea to track what you're reading and write little reviews of the books you've read and do some collaging. And I've really been wanting to get back into reading a lot more, and I've been trying to do that this year. So I thought now would be the perfect time to start a reading journal. And I'm talking too much and the video is way too fast for me, but what I'm doing here on the right side is making a little reader's biography. So I'm putting down what kind of things I like about reading. So for example, I glued in the covers of 3 of my all-time favorite books, which are the Harry Potter series, but specifically the 3rd book, The Prisoner of Azkaban, The Hobbit, and the Rubinrot series from a German author, which I really like. And from these books you can already tell, I think, my favorite genre of books and films for that matter. It's fantasy. I just love everything that has to do with magic, magical places, magical creatures, epic battles. I love that. And I guess all of these books are YA too, so I guess I'm that kind of reader. Although what I would really love is a storyline like the books I love, like most YA books have, but with more older characters, like in their 20s, because I feel like you don't see that very often. And that would just be really nice to read a book about people your own age, but in that fantasy genre. Anyway, to represent my favorite genre on the spread, I drew like a little crystal ball to represent the magic and a sword, but the sword didn't turn out very well. It's kind of crooked, but we're gonna look past that. And then I moved on to my favorite reading spots, which are my sofa, my bed, and outside in my garden. So I drew some fluffy pillows and a blanket, a cup of tea for that. And then I also decided to put down which type of book I like best, like a hardcover, softcover, or an ebook. And what I prefer is a softcover, but I guess some books I do read on my iPad because I just have them as an ebook and I don't want to buy them twice. But generally, if I buy a new book, I prefer to have a softcover. And just like that, we're already done with my reader's bio spread, and we're moving on to my books to read list, or book reading bucket list, I think I called it. And for that, I'm using my book pages paper again, and some more mood pictures that I printed out of books and libraries. And of course, using my alphabet stamps to make the header. I know that a lot of people who keep a reading journal do spreads like these every single month, like their TBR lists, but I'm really not that kind of reader. I don't read nearly as many books as a lot of people who have reading journals, at least the ones I've seen. And I really don't want to put that pressure on myself to say I want to read these books in that specific month, and if I don't know, I don't do it, then I'm just gonna feel bad. So I really want to keep that decision out of this book, just so I can do what feels good for me right now and read when I want to, and not as like a chore. And that's why in the setup I just made a general reading bucket list of books I want to read at some point, and a reading log that isn't specified to any month or even year, so I can just do what I want and read what I want when I want to do it. But design-wise for this spread, I just added some bookshelves and added lots of blank books, and I can put the titles of the books I want to read in there. And I actually do a spread similar like this normally in the front of my regular bullet journal, but I guess since I have a reading journal now, I'll just leave that out the next time I set up a new bullet journal. So I'm just gonna track all my reading in here now. And moving on to the next spread, as I said, it's not specified to any month or even like the year 2021, and 32 is just the number I chose because that's how many of these book shapes I could fit onto the page. Because what I'm gonna do is whenever I finish a new book, I'm gonna either print out the cover or I'm gonna draw it if I have a lot of time. That could be really cool, I think, but I don't know if I'm always gonna be in the mood for that, so I'm gonna leave that open for now. But I'm gonna add the little cover of the book I read, and in the end, when I've read 32 books, it's gonna look really cool with all the covers on one page. And to decorate, I used my pictures of libraries again and my cut out book pages, and actually did something quite cool in the middle because there wasn't any space in the corners to add my decorations. So I cut up a picture of a library in 4 pieces and kind of glued them in, spaced out in the middle of the spread. And you probably can't see it really well on camera, but if you look closely, you'll see that it's all one picture that's just spread out a little bit over the page. Creating these boxes was extremely tedious and I did not have fun doing it, but it always looks so good when you have these individual boxes. I always feel like that too when I do a monthly calendar, but it's just so much work and it's not fun while you're doing it. And we're done with this spread and we're moving on to our final spread, which is my book log. And this is basically just another grid in which I will track when I've started and finished a new book, or not even a new book. I've decided to also track if I'm rereading a book. For example, I read the Harry Potter series every year, and I think I will put that in my book log and in the book cover collection that I did on the spread before as well, because I just want to see how many books I've read in total and not just how many new books. And basically for the book log, I just added this grid with a few different spaces, one for the title of the book, for the author of the book, when I've started reading it, when I finished it, and a little star, which means I'm gonna give the book a rating based on how much I liked it. And this is another tedious part of making a spread, but it's not as bad as making boxes. And it does work a lot better if you flip your journal around like I'm doing here, so you can pull the pen towards you while you're doing the lines, and that makes them look a bit straighter too, because I refuse to use a ruler for that. Anyway, I decorated again with my book pages and my photos, and then we're pretty much done, and we're already moving on to the flip through. I am so slow with this voiceover this time, but I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Maybe you found some inspiration to start your own reading journal if you like books and reading. I'd love that. If you liked it, maybe leave a thumbs up or even drop a comment. That would mean so much to me. And of course, subscribe if you haven't yet. Anyway, I hope you loved it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!